Is there anything better than fresh mozzarella cheese? Whether it's on a pizza or in a salad, it's one of my favorite cheeses. And I'm going to show you how to make it with just 2 ingredients. So let's get into it. To a heavy bottom sauce pot with a lid, add in 2 liters or 8.5 cups of full fat milk. Turn the heat to medium-low. Raw milk is best for this, but it's hard to find, so any non-homogenized or non-ultra pasteurized milk should work. While the milk is heating, it's important to stir it every now and again so that it doesn't catch on the bottom. Scalded milk will not make for nice mozzarella. When the milk reaches 46 degrees Celsius or 115 degrees Fahrenheit, take it off the heat. Add in 120 milliliters, 8 tablespoons of white vinegar, around 4 to 5% acidity, and stir for 30 seconds. You'll notice the curd starting to form straight away. Pop the lid on and let it rest for 15 to 20 minutes. Don't take off the lid. At this stage, if your curd is looking like one big ball, you may want to go in with a knife and just cut it into cubes, but mine's looking perfect. I'm going to scoop it out with a spider into a sieve lined with a cheesecloth. It already looks pretty mozzarella-y. Now we want to squeeze out as much of the whey as possible. I'm going to start by doing it in my cheesecloth. And the more you twist, the more whey will come out. And then give it a squeeze with your hands to remove anything that's left in there. There shouldn't be too much now. Now let's weigh our curd to see how much we have. So that's around 350 grams. Add any residual whey back to your pot and heat this up to 76 degrees Celsius or 170 degrees Fahrenheit. Now carefully add your cheese back to your whey. Ideally, you're looking for your curd to get to a temperature of 71 degrees Celsius or 160 degrees Fahrenheit. But if it doesn't get that high, that's all right. As long as you can get a pretty decent pull on your cheese, you're good to go. I find 60 degrees Celsius or 140 degrees Fahrenheit to be workable and still a little bit hot for my hands, but if I move quick enough, it's all right. It will be quite hot to work with your hands, so you might want to have some cold water nearby or use some gloves that are food safe. You're going to start kneading the mozzarella. And if you can, you'll start to stretch it. And fold it over itself and stretch again. Once it starts to become hard to stretch, we're going to add it back to the whey to soften it again. The first stretch is always the hardest. Let's bring that back to our whey.
Bring the cheese back up to 60 degrees Celsius or 140 degrees Fahrenheit. Continue to knead and stretch your cheese.
Once it's starting to feel smooth and firm, you can form it into your ball. I like to do this by just pinching the bottom underneath and just gently kneading it into the ball shape. If you want to grate your mozzarella, make sure you knead it at least 3 to 4 times. This will cause more tension in the cheese and make it firmer when you go to grate it later. I wanted my cheese to have a softer texture, so I only kneaded mine twice. I'm just gonna tuck those bottoms in, just like this. And then seal it off. Take that little pinched bit in between my fingers and thumb, and just using my hand, gently form a ball. Mozzarella.
If you find the bottom of your ball isn't closing, pop it in the whey again for another 15 to 20 seconds just to slightly warm it up, and it should seal together.
Add your ball of cheese to a bowl of cold water. You could add some ice if your water from your tap isn't really cold. To bring out the flavor, I like to add a little bit of salt to the water to create a brine. Go in with a few teaspoons. And I'm just going to give that a little swirl to help the salt dissolve because it is cold water. Now let your cheese sit for 10 to 20 minutes before slicing. You can store this in the refrigerator for 1 to 2 weeks in its brine, but it is best served fresh. This cheese will be slightly different than if you made it with a traditional rennet, but it's much easier to make this way, and it's even safe for vegetarians. And by not using rennet, it makes it more accessible for everyone to make. And now that you've mastered mozzarella, find out how to make the easiest ricotta cheese of your life. If you found this video helpful, please head down below and hit the like button or the hype button if you've got it, and leave me a comment in the descriptions. What are you going to use your mozzarella cheese on? Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.